One of the biggest challenges that I see most businesses face with getting results with any kind of Facebook advertising is understanding how to cultivate an audience within this database. And in this video, I'm going to show you the best way you can do that. So leaving Facebook just for a minute, just think about this, right? Google discovered a way of understanding buyer intent, meaning they knew when people would move into this phase where they would, over the next 10 to 14 days, actually make a purchase on a specific product. Now, they are able to do this by using machine learning and understanding how people's search patterns resulted in them coming to a sale for all kinds of industries. For vehicles, for example, Google knows when someone's going to buy a 4x4 truck. As an example, they know the short window because of that user's behavior up until that moment. Because there's so many millions of people that have done it before, they recognize this pattern. And what they do is they classify that as being an in-market audience. Someone who's ready to see or to make that purchase, and advertisers can actually tap into that. Now, Facebook doesn't have anything like that, but that's not to say it's not relevant, because it really is relevant. Let's step back a bit for a second. So when I speak to some clients and I see their Facebook campaigns that they're running, and just last week I was having a look at a campaign. This particular company was using Facebook almost the same way you would think of television, where you take a really broad section of the market, some age demographics, some location demographics, and then you craft an ad that is quite broad, quite generic. Now, that may work on television, but it stinks on social media. It's just ineffective, and you're really not taking advantage of the Facebook database, which Facebook, let's face it, that's all it is. It's just a giant database with all this information on any one of its users. So as a Facebook marketer, one of your skills is, how do you cultivate that audience to be an in-market audience so that they are ready to buy and you can get in front of them right at that time when they're ready to buy? It's a skill that needs developing over time, because the way that most people would start their advertising campaigns would be to choose some of Facebook's interest groups. So Facebook might say, people who are interested in, sports cars, as an example, and you can choose that as an interest group. Then you can narrow it down, say people between the age of 35 and 45 who also like big brands like, say, Audi, Mercedes, BMW, and you can have all these different interests layered. And then what you can do from there is you then say, okay, I'm going to craft an ad that suits those people. But here's the catch, is we're not told by anyone how recently somebody showed an interest in that category. So if someone's got an interest in BMW, did they show an interest in that 3 days ago, 5 days ago, 5 years ago? We just don't know. We don't know how recent any of that history is with interest groups. So when you run an ad, who is Facebook going to show that to? Someone who showed an interest in that particular brand 5 years ago? Yeah, well, that's what we've told them to do. But are those people going to be buying a car? Maybe, maybe not. What about the people that have just shown an interest in the last 7 or 14 days? That would be a much more powerful audience. And you can't get to that point just by using interests alone. You need to do something else. And that something else can be done in multiple ways. But we have some methods, and I'll share with you one of those methods. If you think about the mindset of that customer when they're thinking about making a purchase of a car, what are they doing? What are they looking at? What are they viewing? What are they thinking about? What are they reading? One of the things that you can do is, if you created a video on that particular subject of what people are researching or what people are thinking about, and you ran that video on Facebook to those interest groups so that the people that have generally shown an interest see that video, all of a sudden you're refining that database. You're taking this big history of people who have this interest and you're showing them a really relevant video for right now. And anyone who engages in watching that video is going to be much more likely to be in the market to buy, or they're going to be in the market to take that car for a test drive. So just thinking about that, what you're doing is you're taking the database and you're manipulating it by creating another engagement audience of anyone who's watched that video, let's say 50% or more of that video, and you put those people into a different audience. Then to those people, you create an ad. So what you've done is you've actually taken the broad-based interest targeting, refined it, and made it what we like to call an in-market audience for Facebook on the Facebook platform. That doesn't exist. It only exists on Google. It doesn't exist on Facebook. But you could take this one step further. You can then take that audience and say to Facebook, okay, these people who are hyper relevant and interested in this video content, Facebook, go create a lookalike audience of these people so that we can show more people this ad to get them to take a test drive of our vehicle, as an example, if you're a car salesman. So this is one way that you want to manipulate the Facebook database to your advantage. And it's a multi-step process. Now, there's other things that you can do, but this is just one technique that we use all the time. And what it does is it means that you're spending a little bit of money to refine the database to your favor, and then you're showing a relevant ad. And what this does is often reduces your lead costs for your ads, and it's allowing the Facebook algorithm to do more of the work for you to get better results from their initial database. I hope that's helped. I hope that's been good info. Hope that hasn't been too techy. If you like this, like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. I will answer your questions if you have any. And I'd love to hear about your ways of developing a greater audience within Facebook.